Hello, and welcome back to Compensation Uncovered, the series that lifts the lid on the world of personal injury claims. We're here to arm Australians with everything you really need to know to make sure you get all the compensation you're fairly entitled to under the law. Compensation Uncovered is brought to you by our team here at Law Partners, and we are Australia's largest specialist personal injury firm. I'm your host, Piers Toomey, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. So today I'm joined by two very senior expert lawyers, Chantel Curry and Katie Norman. How are you guys today?
Well, thank you, Piers.
Good, thanks, Piers.
Before we get into some topics about personal injury, I'd love for our audience to find out a little bit more about you guys, get to know you and your background. So Chantel, I'll start with you if I may. You're a principal here at Law Partners. We're Australia's largest specialist personal injury firm. I'd love to know about your journey. How did you sort of arrive at this place? What inspired you to join the industry, and any learnings you've learned along the way?
Yeah, sure. So way back at uni, I fell into a job selling house and car insurance. My sister got me the job during my time at uni. So I was doing that on weeknights and over the weekends. And one thing led to another. I then worked at a large insurance broker doing professional indemnity insurance, so very, very dry. From there, I thought, okay, let me find a job in a law firm. I'm going to be admitted soon. So I went and worked for a defendant law firm, so acting for insurers, doing public liability work. So everything that came across my desk, I was basically just providing advice work to insurance companies as to how much I thought the value of the claim would be and how much I thought they were up for. So that got very repetitive, and actually I hated it. I remember I used to attend hearings with injured people in the witness box, and I would obviously be acting for the bad guy, and I'd see these people standing in the witness box telling their story, and our barrister would be there on one end really trying to limit these person's injuries, and I'm sitting there just sinking in my chair thinking, I can't keep doing this. The poor guy's injured, give him some money.
Absolutely. So you really felt empathy for these people.
Absolutely.
You wanted to sort of help them more so than the other side.
Yeah. So from then on, I went to a different insurance company, but more of a workers' comp focus, because I knew there was a lot more interaction with injured workers there. And again, I found myself kind of paying too much on claims, not really meeting all their KPIs because I had the empathy and I just wanted to give so much. So from there, I thought, I can't do this much longer. I think I lasted about 12 months. And then I went to apply for plaintiff firms. So I applied for a couple, got a few interviews and received a few offers. And I'm just, in hindsight, I'm just so grateful to have landed at Law Partners. Because when I think about the offers that were on the table at the time, and I think about, the firm that I've kind of ended up and grown with, it's just been amazing. I mean, everything that we stand for resonates so much with me. The level of service we provide to our clients, the level of empathy, it's not transactional. It's not, a client come in, okay, this is what your claim's worth. Let's do the best to get you the most amount of money. It's so much more than that. And I've really appreciated the journey.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrific journey and very inspiring as you've grown with Law Partners and, become one of our two principals at the firm. That must be really interesting in terms of lots of challenges that come with that and lots of wins and great breakthroughs as the firm grows. I'd love to know a bit more about that.
Yeah, it's been extremely rewarding. Lots of challenges along the way. I think if you always have at the forefront of your mind, whatever I do, I need to help this person. No matter what I do, I just need to help. And if I keep that with me, then it doesn't matter if it's a 60-year-old or a 20-year-old. A little bit of help to someone in need goes such a long way.
I remember once you said that to me, that one of your biggest learnings is around a little bit of help can go a long way. It's sort of almost just the gesture of offering help has sort of a ripple effect, right?
Absolutely. So it could be, as time progressed and I started to manage other lawyers and other staff here, it was exactly the same philosophy. So long as that person feels as though that you have their back no matter what, and you'll go into bat for them, it really doesn't matter the outcome of the case. Of course it does. Everybody wants as much compensation as possible. But the experience and the journey that these people go through, including the staff members, I feel as though they will always come out the other end on such a positive note for that experience and that help and the service that I can provide.
Terrific. So, Katie, we met not so long ago, I know you've had an interesting journey in your personal injury law career. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what inspired you to get into the field and what you've learned along the way?
Certainly. So, quite similar to Chantel, I did fall into personal injury. While I was at university, I started working as a legal assistant, and the solicitor I worked for did personal injury. And seeing the way that his legal support and expertise took clients from the worst time of their lives to having some certainty, reducing their stress, and then obtaining compensation for them, I knew it was something that I wanted to do. So I have worked in personal injury predominantly. I took a little bit of a career break to work in London for a few years.
Right.
Definitely did some commercial work there. It's not for me. I'm definitely a people person. I really am privileged to act for my clients.
Well, what is it about commercial litigation work versus personal injury and working with people? Like, what was it that appealed to you about that?
I think I find it really rewarding. Like I said before, taking clients from the worst period of their lives where they don't know what's going to happen next. The legal process is so uncertain, and seeing them through that process that they didn't think at the start they could get through, and seeing a really good outcome for them and then moving forward with their lives.
Really making a difference for people.
Yeah, it's an absolute privilege.
Yeah, terrific. So for this series of Compensation Uncovered, we're going to spend a few episodes looking into the world of motor vehicle accident claims in the state of Victoria. It might sound like a very specific set of parameters, but there's a lot to cover within that. So I really want to start with my first question, guys, really bring it back to basics a little bit for our audience who are sort of new to this topic. Let's just start with something simple, like what is exactly a motor vehicle accident compensation claim and who is entitled to make one in the state of Victoria? Chantel, if I can start with you.
Yeah, sure. A motor vehicle accident compensation claim may involve two cars or a pedestrian being hit, or it could even be a forklift accident. So there are many circumstances where that may arise.
And does it matter whether that person is, the person at fault or not at fault? Like, what's the difference there?
Yeah, so obviously to make a claim, you need to be injured. Fault doesn't matter. In Victoria, you're covered whether you're at fault or not at fault. Just the entitlements in relation to each one may be different.
Okay. And Katie, do you find that most of your work is to do with people who who were at fault or weren't at fault, or is it sort of you work across the board when it comes to motor vehicle accident claims?
We definitely work across the board. I think that I get sort of an equal number of clients that are at fault and clients that are not at fault for their accidents, and we're happy to help.
And is it a type of insurance that they're covered by, or is it sort of everyone's automatically covered by the state of Victoria for this kind of compensation?
It is. So when you register your car, you pay the TAC insurance charge, and that funds the ability to pursue a TAC claim if you ever find yourself injured on the road.
For my next question, I'm glad you brought that up, Katie, because I would like to know a little bit more about the Transport Accident Commission in Victoria. I know it's sort of unique to that state. For example, in New South Wales, we have CTP insurance, so it's a little bit different. So the TAC, or the Transport Accident Commission, how does this organisation work? What exactly role do they play in Victoria? And when it comes to the claims process, what's the sort of process look like, if I can ask you that?
So the TAC is a state government organisation, and they provide no-fault insurance to people that are injured on the road. And in addition to that, they also focus on road safety and trying to reduce the number of accidents and injuries on the road.
I see. And you have to sort of pay a certain fee for the TAC every time you register a vehicle, once a year, that kind of a thing?
Yes, as part of your registration, within that is a TAC charge that everyone has to pay when you register your vehicle.
So when it comes to the TAC claims process, are there any common misconceptions you come across that people should be aware of when it comes to lodging a claim?
Yeah, sure, Piers. It's pretty easy to notify the TAC of an injury or a claim. So you can do it online or by phone, and all you need is the actual completed claim form, the medical certificate, and the police report. Once that's in, you get a claim notification number.
Okay, so it's not a really difficult, mysterious process. It's actually quite easy once you sort of learn what the steps are. Oh, that's interesting. And I suppose some people might be intimidated by it, think it's a very tricky process, or, there might be some misconceptions around what this process is like. Have you found, Katie, in your experience, that people, have misconceptions about what it is and what it isn't when it comes to the TAC and how that works?
I think definitely. I think one of the biggest ones is that a lot of people don't lodge claims because they weren't doing the right thing or they were at fault for the accident. And that's not something that will stop you from lodging a claim. And I think also if someone's had that injury before and the accident's made it worse, they don't know that they can still lodge a claim in those circumstances.
Oh, is that right? So sometimes people aren't even aware that they were able to lodge a claim, or they didn't realise they had that opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's a really good point, actually, because the people that are at fault, their entitlements are quite valuable as well. So they do get wages up to 3 years and also medical treatment for life.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
So sometimes people in our community might think, I was at fault in this accident. It was me that sort of did this praying. I'm probably not going to be entitled to anything, but that's not the case.
Exactly right.
Yeah, terrific.
And in addition to the income support and medical and like expenses, they can also potentially get an impairment benefit.
Thank you for tuning in to Compensation Uncovered, brought to you by our team here at Law Partners. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on all your favourite social media platforms, and we'll be back really soon to share many more stories and legal insights with you. Until then, goodbye for now.